A light take on the day's topics. Hot topics. Cool tech. Technology. And your interaction. The Michael Garfield Show. Now, the world according to Garf.
We welcome you back to the Michael Garfield Show. It's called The World According to Garf. Always great to have you here 6-7 days a week. On the seventh day, God created more radio programming, and that includes at 1 o'clock Sundays. It is Houston Real Estate Radio, and that's where we hear Shannon Register talk to you, answer your questions. But on Fridays right now, for the few minutes at the end of my first hour, we always talk to Shannon Register. September is over. It flew by fast, and it's still, I'm guessing, a seller's market. Is that right, Shannon?
Still a seller's market. That's right. That's right.
Why? Is it ever going to be a buy? A lot of buyers out there going, when's it going to flip? But we
were in a buyer's market for a long time.
Long time.
So, and seller's market is good for the economy. It is. So it's a good thing to be in the seller's market. We've still got low interest rates for buyers, which is good. But we've got low inventory, which is demand. I mean, it's demand driven, and builders are building as fast as they can, but there's a demand for housing right now.
And I was going to ask you about that because if builders, God love them, for the past few years, tough economy, they stopped building a lot of stuff. Now that there's low inventory and I have to assume builders are now chomping at the bit. They're hiring, they're hammering, and they're banging. Are we going to see this big building boom again like I remember doing 6 or 7 years ago?
I hope we do. But the problem is that they're having to go in and build subdivisions and infrastructure. Right. These master planned communities, it takes years just to build the mud districts. Right. So, there's a lot of infrastructure that goes in before it even gets down to the builder buying lots. And that's where we are with a lot of different areas, But there are still neighborhoods that aren't built out yet. There are communities that aren't built out yet where you can still buy new homes. You just see them going up in onesie-twosies instead of 10s and 20s.
It's a good time to be a land developer, even better than a builder right now. I don't know. I know a few land development companies. Now's the time to hook up over here. Your show is Sunday at 1 o'clock. You've got some great guests, and it's actually last week you had a remote broadcast from Reliant.
So
that went well. You just love going out and meeting and talking to people.
I do. We get to answer a lot of real estate questions right there, meet people, talk to them. That's a lot of fun. Find a lot of people who want to sell.
Yes, they do. And so, and actually, by the way, if anybody wants to start calling in for your Sunday show, you have the phone number. What is that?
We do. It's 281-882-8088. They can call. We'll answer the question on the air. Just leave your name and your real estate question, and we'll be happy to answer it. It's 281-882-8088. That's
HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. You can get your voice on the air Sundays at 1 o'clock with Shannon. This coming Sunday, you've actually got some very interesting guests. You're going all city government and everything. You've got Sheriff Garcia coming on.
I do.
What in the world is Harris County, the city of Houston, dabbling in technology, and they're not consulting me? They've got a new app and everything here.
I thought you would like that. Yeah, they've got this new app. It's I Watch Harris County, and you can download this app on your phone, and then if you see suspicious activity, instead of calling it in, you can text it in, or you can send video clips or pictures, which is really cool. So you see some suspicious vehicle in your neighborhood, you take a picture of it and send it in to them instead of having to call anybody. It's kind of cool.
It's very cool like that. So Sheriff Garcia, how'd you wrangle him? That's pretty strong.
I know. Yeah, we're going to have him in to talk to us, and the constables. We want to find out the difference between the sheriff and constables. So we're going to be talking about that.
Do you have more than an hour for your show?
It's complicated, right?
I'm going to tell you something.
Who knows the answer to that if you're not in law enforcement?
I don't consider myself a dumb person, but I ask a lot of people, what in the world is the difference between a sheriff and a constable and cops and all these people? And they have told me, I could not tell you to this day still what they do. Is it a county? Is it a city? So maybe you can get to the bottom of this.
And when you call 911, do you know who's going to come? Do you know if it's going to be a constable or a sheriff?
At some point, I don't care if I'm calling 911.
You just want them to show up?
I want the posse. I want everybody to show up over there. So between sheriffs and constables over there. But the technology is neat. You utilize technology.
I do.
And people are accustomed to it too. You remember back in the old MLS days, oh my goodness, you had to go to the office and you had to look through the books and all things. And nowadays, they're between HAR.com and even your own website. I mean, you got virtual tours and things. And so it's good to see, Harris County doing something now with apps, especially when it comes to safety and crime also.
It is. It really is. And, it's nice to know as a consumer what's going on with crime. How's it being fought? What's going on in your neighborhood? What can you do to help your neighbors? Because a lot of cutting down on crime is helping watch the neighborhood, what's going on, knowing who's at work and who's not, and whether those cars should be there or not. You want to be able to easily report those kinds of things if you think there's suspicious activity.
Shannon Register joining me. She has her own show among her own real estate company, Sundays at 1 o'clock. Let's talk about this. When people are trying to find a neighborhood or find a community, there's a number of different factors that they look at. They look at schools, obviously, the resale value, but also let's talk about the crime in things. I mean, there are websites and there are apps where you can see child molesters and statistics over there. Where does crime fit in? I mean, do you see this as the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is this the first question people ask, or what?
It's more on the second page. It's more, once you found the area you want to be in and you found the neighborhood where you want to be, then you start looking at what's the crime, how many pedophiles live in the neighborhood, or do any pedophiles live in the neighborhood. If you've got children, those things are really important. There are apps that you can look at to see where the closest pedophile lives. There are, of course, obviously websites you can go to find out about all the demographic information and the crime in the area. And you want to be aware of all of that when you move to a new location. And if you're moving from out of state, it's really important that you have a realtor that can point you in the direction of those websites, because you don't know where to look, and you want to find out before you move to that area.
No, exactly right. And I know your office is on the north side over there, but obviously you've got a real estate license to sell throughout the entire state of Texas.
That's
and I know last week I think you had the folks from 1 or 2 weeks ago. You had the economic development folks from Pearland, from Bay City. I mean, you cover this area quite well.
We do. We've got our brokerage covers the entire Houston metro area, so we can sell houses down in Pearland just as easily as the Woodlands, Conroe. We go all over.
And you got your finger on the pulse of things, obviously. And that Sunday, you love talking to people. I know it's a seller's market. I know we're getting very, very close to October right now. It's never not a good time to buy. It's never not a good time to sell. But that's the advice that you give every Sunday. Well,
and the great thing is here in the Houston market, in a lot of the northern states, you have all the snow and all the issues that come with winter, and it makes people not want to buy homes. Here, you don't have that issue. You can still have nice landscape in the wintertime here. It's not as nice as the spring and summer, but you can still have nice landscape. It's easier to sell houses here than is up north, and so you can really sell year round.
I think it's easier just to buy. If you're coming from out of town, it's better to come right now in September, October versus the middle of July and August.
It's hot when you're looking at houses in August.
If anybody is moving to town right now, our weather's always like this here at the end of September. Yeah, it's 12 months of the year. It's nice and cool here in Houston.
And here's the thing with the sellers, they always want to set their air on 80 because they're not going to be there. Oh, it makes the buyers so mad.
Don't do it.
Make it a cool house. You want that buyer to want to be there all the time. You want them to want that house. Make it cool in there.
I also was, and you talk about staging, I also would have a refrigerator full of beer too. Also is an easy sell. And
At least water.
I know James in here more than happy to show you what you should stock in your refrigerator here. Her name is Shannon Register. 1 o'clock right here, KPRC radio show at radio station. It's her show. It's called HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. Big weekend. Sheriff Garcia and a lot of other folks talking about technology, safety in the city. And so you're doing the city and our listeners a lot of justice. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right. One more time, the phone number people want to call.
281-882-8088.
Simple as that. All right. Other side of the show, halfway to happy hour coming up. Give us a call here. 713-212-5950. One more hour here on a Friday afternoon. It's The World According to Garf.